What's happening, people? In this video I wanted to talk about my most anticipated games for 2016. 2015 was a pretty awesome year, I think everybody can agree on that, but 2016 is shaping up to be a pretty good year as well. There are a ton of awesome games coming out that I'm looking forward to, but there are a handful that I've been keeping a close eye on, particularly because some of them I've been involved with. Well, not directly involved with, but I have given money to. So you could say that I'm particularly interested in seeing how those ones turn out. So the first game that I'm really looking forward to is a game called Allison Road, which is an upcoming first-person survival horror game. It appears to be very much in the style of the Silent Hills playable teaser, taking more than a few cues from that game. Now this is totally fine with me. If Konami don't want to make Silent Hills, then at least this looks like it might fill the gap. On Wikipedia it says that it's coming to the PC, PS4 and Xbox One, but the website says that it's only PC and that console isn't confirmed yet. So it's kind of hard to know if we'll get to play this on console this year. It's being developed by a small team of developers, I think there might be only 6 of them in the UK. There isn't really much in the way of gameplay, just a pre-alpha teaser that was released before Team 17 took over the publishing of this game. I'll say one thing, it looks pretty damn scary, and for a small team of 6 developers, it's an incredible looking game. Anyway, this one's supposed to be targeting the third quarter of this year, although I would be surprised if that slips because of the small development team which I mentioned, and also the plans to launch on multiple platforms might elongate the development process. The next highly anticipated game on my list is a Kickstarter project which I actually helped fund, which is the new Friday the 13th game, which is based on the film franchise featuring Jason Voorhees. The project originally started as an homage to the films, and I think it was originally called Summer Camp, but it eventually got officially backed by the people who made the films, and a lot of those people have been involved in its development, like Kane Hodder, who played Jason in a bunch of the Friday the 13th movies. It's an asymmetrical horror game where 5 people play as camp counselors and 1 person plays as Jason. The objective as the counselors is to escape, and the objective of Jason is to, well, kill everything. You can't kill or stop Jason, but apparently you can slow him down or distract him. The counselors are most effective when working together as a team, but apparently things can become incredibly chaotic when Jason turns up because he's incredibly overpowered. There's supposed to be a bunch of cinematic kill animations lifted straight from the movie, such as Jason folding people in half and bashing them around in sleeping bags, so I'm really looking forward to this because I'm a big fan of the films, so I'm hoping this one turns out good. Like Allison Road, there isn't really much in the way of gameplay footage yet. There's some pre-alpha stuff on YouTube, but it's pretty hard to see what's going on, and the game looks like a really early build, so it's very difficult to get a sense of what the real game will be like. I'm very much aware that this game could turn out to be a dud, but all the right pieces seem to be in place for this to work. Now, although this game is still really early in development and we've only seen alpha footage, they're apparently targeting an October release of this year, so fingers crossed that it comes out this year and that it's also good. The next game I'm really looking forward to is Street Fighter V. I've been a fan of the franchise since Street Fighter 2. I don't play anywhere near as much as I did when I was 15, but I'm always super keen to see what they do in each new installment. I have a pretty decent collection of Capcom fighting games, and I've been lucky enough to be involved with the closed beta of this one, so I've had a good chance to play the game, and I have to say that I'm pretty happy with the game's development so far. I like that all the DLC characters will be free, and in an effort to unify the player base, multiplayer is going to be cross-platform with the PC. It's a bit of a bummer that Xbox One owners won't get a chance to play this. Obviously there's an exclusivity deal between PS4 and PC, and I think that these sort of exclusivity deals, while good for the platforms that they're on, aren't particularly good for gamers or the game long term. Ultimately, less people playing a game is not good for its community. Anyway, this one is releasing super soon in February, so we really don't have to wait too long. So pretty good start to the year in my opinion. The next game that I'm really excited about this year is the return of Battlefield. Now, we have confirmation from DICE that it is in the works and it will be released this year, or at least the plan is to release it this year, but we don't know if it's going to be Battlefield 5 or some other iteration. Obviously, last year we had Battlefield Hardline, which didn't necessarily go down all that well, despite not being a terrible game. But no one knows if this new Battlefield is going to be a modern day shooter, a futuristic shooter. There have even been rumors of it going back to World War II, although I think that might be a little bit of wishful thinking. Now, I'm not a giant fan of the Battlefield series, but seeing as most other shooters seem to have moved away from the present day setting, I'm kind of pumped to see what DICE have got planned, so I really hope that they stick with the current modern day theme. There isn't a lot of info to go on this point other than the confirmation from DICE that the game is in development, but normally EA do have a big shooter planned for launch each year around September, so I think this is most likely when we're going to see the new Battlefield game drop, obviously to compete with whatever Call of Duty are doing. And the last game that I'm really psyched for, and this is definitely by no means least psyched for, and probably the most psyched for this game, is Uncharted 4. As I've said in many videos before, I'm a massive fan of the series. Uncharted 2 is my favourite game of all time. And apparently Uncharted 4 is going to be the final chapter in the Nathan Drake story, which is a bit sad, but I think it's going to be bittersweet. I'm really hoping that this game turns out to be amazing. Everything that I've seen from it so far looks incredible. Based on the previous games, I know that Naughty Dog will set themselves some pretty high standards for production values and storytelling and all that sort of stuff, so I don't have any doubts in terms of the game itself being of a high quality. Whether or not it stands up to the other games in the series, but if the other games are anything to go by, I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing game. Uncharted 4 is an interesting one in the franchise because it's the first one that's being directed by Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann, which, if you're unfamiliar with, also directed The Last of Us, which happens to also be one of my all-time favourite games. They're trying a few new things with this game, such as dialogue trees, but what I'm most excited to see is their take on Uncharted's light-hearted storytelling, because The Last of Us was pretty dark. Multiplayer returns again, and it looks like they've tried to up the ante from previous installments. I must admit, I didn't play much of Uncharted 3's multiplayer, but I did play an awful lot of Uncharted 2's multiplayer, so I'm pretty keen to see how they've improved it. Anyway, this one releases in April 26, which is just after my birthday, which is kind of nice this year. It's had a few delays, apparently, to improve things like the ending, which is fine. If they're improving things, then sweet, I don't mind waiting. So yeah, pretty stoked to play that one. And just on a side note, I'd like to mention Call of Duty. Now, I'm not particularly excited for Call of Duty this year at all, being it's an Infinity Ward game, and Ghosts and Modern Warfare 3, I think most people would agree, are the least impressive games in the franchise thus far. But having said that, I don't think they're going to be doing a sequel to the least successful Call of Duty to date, which is Ghosts. They could well drop another Modern Warfare on us. I think that might be smart from a business perspective. I think lots of people would be excited about that. But yeah, Infinity Ward haven't made a great game since Modern Warfare 2 in my opinion, which is when most of the original team left to form Respawn, who obviously went on to make Titanfall. I didn't actually think that Ghosts was all that terrible. It was certainly quite beige as far as Call of Duty games go, but it proves that Infinity Ward can at least make a functional and solid game. I mean, the netcode was good, the hit detection was pretty good, and the balance of the weapons and everything was pretty good, and their DLC strategy was kind of cool. The Predator and Michael Myers and all that sort of stuff went down well. So yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on that one. No doubt I'll probably end up buying it, but I'm not super stoked for it. Anyway, those are the games that I'm most excited about this year. Definitely drop your thoughts in the comments section below and let me know what games you're excited for in 2016. But other than that, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm out of here.